All right. Welcome to Bucketphoria. This is a basketball podcast presented by Mafia Sports Report and Sports Dynasty. So today, as you all know, we're in the Eastern Conference Finals. But what we want to do is we just want to take a look at this process in Philadelphia and how it's failed. Alex, you could take this one, man.
I couldn't wait for this. So it's ironic because the process started 10 years ago of the day they got bumped from by Boston again. The last time they made the playoffs, right? They lost in 7 games. Before the process started, right? They made the playoffs in 2011, 2012. That was the year they beat the Bulls in the first round because Derrick Rose's knee exploded, and then they were 1 game away from beating the Celtics. I don't know if people remember that Sixers team with Iguodala, Young Drew Holiday, out and Brand, all of them. That Sixers team almost took Boston out in the second round.
They were an eighth seed, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, they were.
They were eighth seed, yeah.
And going into the fourth quarter of that game, they had a shot. They were only down by 3. And then, the championship pedigree that is the Boston Celtics at the time closed it out. So, seeing that they had it was clear they had a ceiling. They were first round exit. Maybe they get lucky, they come in the series, but second round exit max, they done. So they decided to blow it up, which is fine. You drafted a player. Your first draft picks were by Carter Williams, which he was good for y'all. Then y'all realized he actually really ain't that good, so I traded him and got Ernest Noel out of that. Who's serviceable? He's a service backup big, but as a number 6 pick, next, right? Cool. And then the year after, they got the number 3 overall pick, and they drafted a dude that will become their future MVP, and Joel Embiid. And you have to wait for him though because he missed 2 seasons. Might as well be 3 because he barely played that third season in the league because he was still battling injuries though. But looked good in those 25 games though. Like around 25, 30 games he played. He looked good in those games.
Yeah, he looked very good for a rookie. Yeah. Well,
right.
Rookie in the NBA. Yeah.
Right. So drafted Jahlil Okafor. Oops.
Damn.
You drafted Ben Simmons, who yeah. And it's even though at the time the Ben Simmons pick made sense though. The Jahlil Okafor not as much. Because you already drafted 2 centers at that point. I think the Ben Simmons pick at the time did make sense.
Ben Simmons made sense, yeah, it did.
I don't remember when Sam Hinkie got fired, but then Brian Colangelo came in and wanted to kind of try to win with the pieces that they got, but they brought in like JJ Redick, they brought in Marco Bellinelli, those veteran type players, and the team was good. They just lost in the second round to Boston again, which they're trying to avoid. But it's all right though. It was the first year. It was the first year together. They ended the season like on a 17, 18 game winning streak, something like that. That pretty much gave Ben Simmons the rookie of the year. The team was good.
Yeah, without Joel, and Joel wasn't there.
And then
the
year after, they said, "Fuck the depth. We're gonna get players. They traded Dario Saric and
Bellinelli.
No, Bellinelli, I think he just left.
Redick?
No, Redick was still there. No, they traded Saric and Covington for Jimmy Butler. Redick was there.
Got it.
Yeah, Redick was there. And traded, I forgot what, for Tobias Harris. They traded for Tobias Harris. I think Landry Shamet was part of that trade. I just don't remember what else was there.
Yeah, Landry Shamet was. Yeah, he was, yeah.
And they got what's his face? They got Tobias Harris. So they're expectations to win now. They beat the Brooklyn Nets easily. And then the Toronto series happened where their first sign of Joel Embiid not playing well in these second round series started. Which he was battling injuries, which also was about to become a trend. But if the Kawhi Leonard shot bounces another way, they probably, I'm not guaranteeing it. There's a world they could have made the Eastern Conference Finals in that year if the Kawhi Leonard shot bounces the other way and goes overtime.
They had a good shot. If that shot don't go in, they had a good shot. It was still Game 7. Who knows? But
right.
They had a good
who
shot.
knows, right? So whatever. All right, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then the year after the bubble year happened, this free agency was probably one of the worst free agency things they had. They let Jimmy Butler walk for nothing. No, it was
For
a sign
Tobias
trade.
Harris.
No, it was a sign trade. I lied. They signed him and traded him to Miami for Josh Richardson, which I can't lie. At the time, I thought it was a good pickup because Josh Richardson played well in Miami. I thought it was a good pickup at the time. But
Yeah, hindsight's 2020, I guess, on that one.
But that fell through, and then you signed Al Horford?
It gave him a lot of money, too.
Yeah, you paid him like he was early 30s, late 20s. He was, what, 34, 35 at this time?
Yeah.
And then they sucked that season. They made the playoffs relatively easy because, honestly, it was those 16. It was the 16s, and then everyone else, Orlando and Brooklyn, made it because everyone else was trash. And got swept by Boston. Even though, slight caveat, Ben Simmons wasn't there. Cool. Understandable. Then you after
the bubble? Is that bubble?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was okay. All right, got you.
And then the year after comes. You can ask, bro, I'm one of the biggest Philly detractors ever. The only year that I really liked them was the first year they came together and this shit coming up. But it took a while for me to accept them, though, because they fired Brett Brown, which was the right decision because I wasn't a fan of his. They hired Doc Rivers. And it confused me of why they would do that. But, but you just got to let it play out. This team was great. This Sixers team in their first season with Doc Rivers was actually a great basketball team. They were actually very, very underrated. And was the first seed kind of easily.
They coasted. Yeah, they coasted to that.
They coasted to that, exactly. And if there was a year that I thought they could actually go all the way and make the finals, was that year. Should have thought Washington, but they beat them in 5, whatever. Then the Atlanta series happens. The infamous Hawks series.
That series was a movie, bro.
Where in games 4 and 5, they blew a 20-point lead in back-to-back games. Jordan Embiid in the second half of that game 4 was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he did not make a shot for the whole entire second half of that full game. And
then,
continue.
Yeah, there's a lot of times John Collins got the best of him in that series.
Right. And I'm about to say, and then game 6, they win thanks to a performance by Seth Curry and Tobias Harris. I think they were the ones that, what's it called? Lifted them up because I'm pretty sure Jordan was bad that game too. But they both, they survived it. And then game 7, where the play of Ben Simmons' career passes up an easy dunk to, I think it was Matisse Thybulle.
To Matisse Thybulle. He threw it to Matisse Thybulle baseline. Yeah.
He threw it to Matisse Thybulle baseline. He got, because he was so scared to get fouled. Then game over. Then I think Thybulle had a stupid foul too. And they lost to a Hawks team where Trae Young shot 5 for 23 in the field. Bogdanović shot 2 for 8. All they needed to do was beat the Hawks. Herter had a great game too. He had 27 points. All you had to do was beat them with their 2 best guards played bad, and they couldn't do that.
We were crushing them that whole series too on why they would keep having Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle to close out the game.
Yeah, that made no sense. That literally made no sense. And I feel like when that happened, it was kind of obvious, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything, but, the year after comes. Ben Simmons starts pouting, crying, and all that. You know how that goes with him. And they trade him for James Harden, who sucked. Let's keep it real. He sucked, but he was still injured, though.
He was still injured, yeah. Definitely still injured.
Yeah, Joel Embiid kind of pretty much solo squads the Raptors in the first round until Siakam broke his face. And then goes to Miami.
Miami, yeah.
Yeah, but Tobias Harris over me? And this year, I don't think this is worse than the Hawks one. This comes close, though. This comes close because
the Hawks is definitely the worst one because of the opportunity presented to them. So it's a good chance to argue. It's a good debate to say that was their year. That was supposed to be the year for them. If they had a shot, it was that year. So I think that's number one. This is definitely number two, bro.
Yeah, because you go 2 20-point leads in that series against Atlanta, and you were clearly supposed to be the better team. Yeah, no, that's worse.
Boston, that's definitely one. Right. That's definitely one. That's definitely one. But this
Boston season,
this is bad too, bro. I mean, this is bad too, man. I mean, another blown lead.
Like
you can add that stock.
You're up 3-2, right? You actually had James Harden in a few games play like he had his playoff moments for I think I can legitimately say I never think he had before. He actually had playoff moments in this series.
He did.
Tyrese Maxey was really good. And you were down. Jason Tatum gave him a 14-shot head start. He went 1 for 14 in this game 6. They were still down, by the way, when this happened. Then they actually scratched and clawed. They had a 2-point lead with 5 minutes left to go in the game.
Yeah.
And they absolutely blew it. Had 3 points in the last 5 minutes. I don't think it was a field goal. So I think it was all 3 were free throws. They absolutely blew this game. It was a vintage Doc Rivers coaching performance, and Joel Embiid sucked. Harden sucked. I'm about to say you had Matthew Works played pretty well, and Tobias Harris, I'm pretty sure that game was garbage too. And you gave Boston life, and in game 7, and we said this: if they lose game 6, it's a wrap. They not win the 7th game, and Jason Tatum made sure of that.
Definitely did.
And Jason Tatum was horrible in this series, and they still couldn't win. And it is at this point, and they rightfully fired Doc Rivers.
Rightfully so.
But this has been an abject failure. It's ridiculous how much of a failure this whole entire run has been.
I'll say this: the Hawks series was, as a whole, the series was the worst thing. But game 6 of this series, I think, was the worst game. I think this was the worst game in this whole.
Given the fact if you win this game, you win the series. I understand why.
Yeah, but they win this game.
2 20-point leads back-to-back games, game 4 and game 5.
Right. The series in Atlanta is the worst thing, right? The series, but this particular game, was the worst. I would say game in the process, and okay, for obvious reasons, they're up 3-2, right? And you finally beat Boston, the teams that it felt like you could just never beat. That's one.
Right.
But 2, it's mainly because if there was ever a game that was given to this team in this process, it was this game right here. I feel like if Boston played Orlando, they would have beaten them the way Boston played in this game. Like, I feel like almost every team in the entire NBA would have won this game, probably just except for Philadelphia, because Tatum, this game was so bad for Tatum that it was at a point where it was going to taint his legacy for how bad this was. This was a legacy tainting performance by Jason Tatum up until the 4th quarter. I mean, Doc Rivers' lack of adjustments. I guess the talk is going to have to just be said with Joel Embiid that he just can't show up in these big moments, man. And
that's exactly what's going to be, and rightfully so, because this was probably the year where this is the healthiest he's been.
Yeah.
Him and his camp cried for this MVP. They did. He got the MVP, and it wasn't this series too. The next series too, he sucked.
He did.
And I'm about to end. What was like the biggest? He has the record for the biggest drop off, right? He goes for 33 points per game. That 23, right? That's the biggest points per game drop off by an MVP, right?
I believe it's 9.4. Yes, it is the biggest drop off for an MVP ever.
And the quote he said after the game was so weak too, because he talking about me and he pretty much essentially said me and James Harden can't do it all alone. Spoiler: James Harden had less points than PJ Tucker.
Hey, could you imagine getting over a 10-point game from PJ Tucker, man, and you get blown out? How is that even possible, bro?
Yeah, Maxey and Tobias Harris was the two best players in the team. Tobias Harris
Exactly.
officially he was 7 for 13, had 19 points. He played pretty good,
bro. And if you're MVP, if I'm getting at least two games to 2.5 games with a good James Harden, you could sign me up, man. Sign me up for that in a series against a contender. And I got 2.5 games where I know James Harden is going to play good. 2.5, I'll take that. And
now,
still,
right?
I mean, that is just unacceptable. And Alex knows I'm a big Joel Embiid fan, but this just smells fraud to me. I mean, it just feels like a fraud MVP to me. You can't get MVP and then do that, man. I mean, it's really bad. He's the only MVP in NBA history to not make a conference finals. He has that over him now.
It's
crazy, bad, man.
It's crazy too because you really look at it, right? It's like Game 6 between the Suns and the Nuggets and the Celtics and the Sixers were on the same day. They're right after each other. It's crazy because you had one who couldn't close out the game where Jason Tatum tried his absolute hardest to do it to help them win, but said, you know what, since you don't want it, I'm gonna take it then, and hit 4 threes over him, and then you got Nikola Jokic beat the hell out of Denver in 5 minutes. Not as Denver, I mean Phoenix rather.
Yeah, those games were two completely different tells to the game. Whereas Phoenix, and we said this before, it was just more so Phoenix just getting overwhelmed, but it was expected, right? Devin Booker, I mean, if there's a way to go out, he went out the right way.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
He played with everything he had in this series. Then you go to Boston side and Sixers side, where you just feel like Joel Embiid should just get revoked for everything that he got because of how pathetic that he was in this series. I mean, again, this was a gift wrap. This game was given to the Sixers. They're supposed to be playing Miami right now. Like, how do you lose that game? And Doc Rivers, I just don't understand how someone would even hire him. He's just not a good coach. He's just not. He just has so many lack of adjustments. I mean, I just can't. I don't know where they go from here. The only thing I can say is that this team definitely needs to just be blown up.
Who do you blame the most for this failure of the process?
Okay, number one, I'm going to put Doc Rivers, but number two is definitely what I would say. 1A is Doc Rivers, and 1B is Joel Embiid.
I mean, no, I'm not talking about just the season. I meant in general for this continuous failure over and over and over again.
Oh, just as a whole for the process?
For the process, yeah.
I would say it got to be Elton Brand, right?
Yeah, he was GM when we brought in. We paid that money to Tobias Harris and brought in Josh Richardson. Yeah, he was GM for that.
Yeah, I would say it's Elton Brand.
Walk.
Yeah, so he paid Tobias Harris pretty much superstar money, right?
Yeah.
He got the so and he essentially picked Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. That's what that was. He picked him over, right? Then I'll give second place. I'll give it to Ben Simmons. I mean, his inability to adjust, to never get better. He's essentially damn near the same player he was when he got drafted, up until his peak. His peak, he was Defensive Player of the Year. He was all defensive team caliber. He definitely was. But in terms of an offensive skill set, he essentially is the same player that he was when he got drafted. So he never adjusted. He screwed the team pretty much in that Atlanta series too. I mean, that play just took the soul out the team.
Yeah.
So he did that too. Then because I'm bashing Embiid for kind of like this year specifically. He does kind of have a trend of where it feels like maybe he's just not going to show up in the second round. But he did carry I will say he did carry a heavy load for this team in general. And I guess I'll go Daryl Morey too for really just wanting to get, because James Harden is his boy. That's Daryl Morey's boy. He went to get James Harden, and he knows what's going to come with James Harden. And he did have a couple good games in the series, but then those bad games weren't a surprise either.
Right.
So it's to be expected. And when it was time for Game 7, where was he? Gone, like he always is. But that's Daryl Morey. That's his boy. So
crazy because James Harden. I said this. I think I've said this since when he lost to the Warriors in Game 7 in West Conference Finals. I pretty sure I said he's like the worst Game 7 elimination game performer I've ever seen in my life.
Ever.
It's bad, like how bad he is in these situations. And for me, okay, I'll say this: the front office most definitely is number one. I'm a piling Colangelo, Brand, and Morey in the same thing. I'm gonna combine them all because questionable head coaching hires, right in the Doc Rivers thing. You let JJ Redick walk, which he gave you ample spacing, and he was a great veteran presence in the locker room. Everybody loved JJ Redick. You let go of Jimmy Butler, who was pretty much the best player in that series against Toronto in the second round. Let's be real here. He was the reason why it went 7. And even I'll give them this for this. The fact they flipped Josh Richardson for Seth Curry was good by them, and the fact that was able to get rid of all of it and got a decent amount back was good for them as well. But the problem is, you traded all those role players, Covington and Sarge, for Jimmy Butler only for a year before he left. He said deuces and went to Miami, and you essentially traded nothing for James Harden. You traded Ben Simmons, Drummond, Curry. Essentially, traded Seth Curry for James Harden, which in theory that's great, but you got to think about it like this as well. I think the lack of trust in Tyrese Maxey to me was pretty much. I'm not gonna say it was a downfall, but it's alarming because you think they could use Seth Curry in this team? I think they could.
They definitely could use Seth Curry in this.
They try to go after they did a Lakers thing. They tried to go too hard on the big name and not try to grow with the pieces that they had. Because could they use Curry? Yes. Could they use Seth Curry? Yes.
I like the thought of a Seth Curry and Tyrese Maxey combo. That sounds really nice.
It's gonna be bad defensively. But then again, you got James Harden, so it is what it is. You just bite that bullet. Secondly, Ben Simmons, for the fact he never gotten better at all. They essentially enabled his. Even though that's not really on him, but I'll say one coaching as well. Like they enabled his BS, and the fact of the matter is, he never got better. Great defender at the end of the day, but when they're literally saying, "Let's leave him wide open and double Embiid," that doesn't help him. Now, does it? And it's crazy. And no, I can never say he didn't get better. No, he actually regressed as an offensive player because at least before he had like a little 10, 15 footer that he could go to. That it would help. It would have helped in that series.
He did regress. I agree with that.
And then, I'm about to say, and third, I'll go with Joel Embiid because the fact that you never taken care of your body enough that you continuously get hurt over and over again. At this point, I have to blame you. You feel me?
No, he definitely needs to take blame for that. He needs to be better. He needs to be more available, and he wasn't. So,
is there light at the end of the tunnel? I actually think there is. For the Sixers team. Believe it or not, I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. You keep Maxey and Embiid. You make them your 2 best players. If you can finesse a sign and trade for Harden, that'd be great. Play Jalen McDaniels. Hold on. Jaden McDaniels is the Timberwolves when Jalen McDaniels is the one they have, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I want to make sure. Get rid of Peters. I don't know why they paid him that much money anyway. That was so stupid as well. I forgot to mention that. Like, they paid him like he was 33. He damn near 40.
Exactly.
That was also so stupid, too. I forgot about that.
Bad signings, always.
Because you got Anthony Melton, who's a great role player. About to pay Jaden McDaniels more. And make these 2 your 2 best players and build around these 2 and make complementary players. You do not have to get that big name over and over and over again. Hence why I was so pissed off when the Lakers traded for Russell Westbrook, because you went after the big name and look how bad that season was that year.
A player that they Yeah.
But they traded him, got good role players, and D'Lo, Vanderbilt, Billy Beasley, he don't play no more. He don't play no more. And you have other players like Hachimura, Austin Reeves, those role players, and look at them right now. They're the West Conference Finals. You don't need the big name. You really don't.
You don't. And this is a free agency class where you can get championship pieces and kind of see if you could get a good collective ball club and try to go to war with the team. I think I agree with you. It's time to turn the page and put more responsibility in Tyrese Maxey. I think he's shown enough. He's earned that. I think he's earned that.
I think luckily for them too, I think Tobias Harris' contract's finally up.
That is wonderful.
And you know what I'm going to say with that too? I don't hate them bringing him back. I actually really don't.
Yeah, if you could bring him back for significantly less, I say yes. You could bring him back, as well as bringing him back other good championship pieces to this team, because this team needs depth above anything.
Right. And honestly speaking, right, and this is this is my last point before we move on to other things. They gotta get a coach. They gotta get a coach. They have to get a good enough coach. There's a lot of them out there. Since I actually want to talk about that too. After this, there's a lot of coaches that's available. That's good. You can even go in-house hiring and get Sam Cassell, which I think is what they should do.
I think they should do that too. But I think they might be getting JJ Redick.
I know the Raptors interviewed him. I don't know if they did too. Yeah. I know the Raptors interviewed him, which if you get JJ Redick as a head coach, I don't know how I feel about that.
All I can say about that is that that's interesting.
Exactly. That's a smart basketball mind. Don't get me wrong, but again, I feel like it's a Steve Nash situation. Next year's the last year's contract, not this year. Okay, it's next year.
Next year.
I feel like it's more of a Steve Nash situation. You feel me?
It could be.
Which you got to go up. You need your training arc as a coach. Sam Cassell's been in the coaching staff. Why not give him a shot?
He's a bit. He has a lot of respect in this league too.
He does. That's like I've always wanted him to have a chance.
Definitely.
And this is what I want to talk about too. This is right. I want to talk about too. Down Philadelphia, but this is the thing in general. Why are coaches getting fired for their players' incompetence?
I have no idea. I mean, I've never seen. If there's ever a time where coaches are scapegoats, it's definitely now.
Like don't get me wrong. Doc Rivers deserved to get fired. That I'm not debating. But Monty Williams got fired.
Mm-hmm.
He had such a thin roster that there was not enough wiggle room he could do. He had to play Jock Landale since Aiden was out, and Jock Landale was the better center over him anyways. Like, it's very similar to, like, who was it that...
Dwayne Casey?
No, it wasn't Dwayne Casey. It was someone else that I felt like their hands were tied, and they got fired for no reason. I mean, Frank Vogel kind of, but he didn't make the playoffs.
Who, Dave Yeager? Dave Yeager?
Probably. Thank you. It was Dave Yeager. I was saying, but he was literally one with third and fourth stringers on the court and got fired after that.
Which makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand that.
Right. And then you have Frank Vogel last year got fired for no reason for having one of the worst rosters in the league with LeBron and AD, by the way, which AD that year had a ridiculous down year.
He couldn't shoot.
Yeah, exactly. He really couldn't shoot. And I'm about to say you got those two getting fired for no reason. Like, coach, but I understood why he got fired because that series was
He costed them.
That was bad. But I will say this is kind of the first time he fucked up in a while.
It is the first time, though. That's true.
He fucked up in a while. So I feel like they probably could have given him another year, but and then you have what's it called? And then it's crazy because you look at Miami, right? We look at Miami. There was a few years where they were like first round exits and didn't make the playoffs, right? Those a few year stretch for Coach Spo. Did he get fired?
Nope. I would say that's a fair point, but I think he kind of has a shield over him because he's straight from the teachings of Pat Riley.
Like, no, I understand that, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like sentiment is still the same, though, because it's like, at the end of the day, right, Monty Williams, right, in Phoenix, built the culture, right, when ain't on the bubble in his first year, They got Chris Paul. Chris Paul is his guy. Chris Paul loves Monty. They made the finals as Mickey as it was. They made it.
They did make it.
Won 64 games the year after, and then got a 4 seed year after. He was a top 4 seed since they got Chris Paul every single year. And yes, I understand they got owned by Luka. They got owned by Luka and owned by Jokic in elimination games at their home court. I understand that. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, right? Their rosters weren't good enough. Again, you got Chris Paul, a perennial choker. Yeah, Devin Booker having to do, especially this year, having to do literally everything for the team to make them be competitive. You got Durant, who ain't nothing without Steph Curry. Yes, I said it. I don't care.
It's the truth.
You got DeAndre Ayton, which that first playoff run they had was the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life. Apparently,
very fluky.
Because it's ridiculous how he went from that to what he is now.
He went from 2011 Dirk to just a guy.
He didn't go from 2011 Dirk to 2021 Ben Simmons like this. It's crazy to me. And and then you never had the year they won 64 games. I feel like they have a decent roster. I feel like they just didn't have a guy. I feel like if Devin Booker this year was the same player he was that year, they would have went to the West Conference Finals. I still think they would have to go to state, but they would have gotten laughed off their own court.
Yeah, this Devin Booker with that team is a very dangerous team.
Right.
Very dangerous team.
And then no role play. He had no role players in his team. You were literally fishing minutes for Landry Shaman to get a masterclass. Campaign actually had 31 points and got blown about 30.
They were just so. This is just a team that was so overmatched. If there was a year to not blame Monty, it was this year. They had no shot.
And then he got fired for what? And Nick Nurse too got fired for what?
I forgot about that. I knew there was someone else. I couldn't remember who it was. Nick Nurse as well.
And Steven Stiles, I mean, honest true. I think he kind of got fired for no reason too.
I think he got fired for no reason. Look at the all NBA peers complain about that team, about how undisciplined that team is, about how cocky those players are.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They upgraded. I think they got the perfect coach for that team because he's not gonna play that.
Yeah, that was a great coach. That was a great signing.
But at the end of the day, I feel like he's a smart mind as well. But at the end of the day, that team was that was not the right team for him. It wasn't.
He was a guy who got dealt a bad hand.
So I don't understand with this coaching stuff where everybody just getting fired for what? Because the players are not performing well.
It's definitely true. Like, for example, I'm glad you mentioned the Nick Nurse. Look at how bad Scotty Barnes was this year. He was horrible. He was horrible.
And I feel like they kept dealing with bad injuries that year too.
They were kind of on and off with injuries this year, yeah. And when they got Jakob Poeltl, the team they kind of got better. So yeah.
Unless they wanted to move to a new direction, that's like the only way. That's like the only possible way I could kind of accept it. But still, it still doesn't really make sense to me.
They're kind of a franchise that's never like too bad for too long, for as long as they been in the league. So I guess it's just a wait and see kind of thing. I think they're old that, but it is very suspect that Nick Nurse got fired in that team though.
But I'll say this though. A lot of head coaches. If you need a head coach, there's a lot of good ones out there.
I don't know if this is right, but I could have sworn I think Mark Jackson was getting interviewed.
I think they got interviewed by Milwaukee, yeah.
So they can happen, okay? Because I thought he was like blacklisted.
He might still be, but they might interview him just cause. But I swear he is blacklisted. If you get hired, then cool, because he is a good coach. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
So finally talk about these conference finals, shall we?
Oh yeah, let's go.
All right, so one game each. We want to go East or West first?
We can go East.
Okay, we'll go East. Okay, I gotta say something real quick. I'm gonna level with you. I didn't see the last 5 minutes of this game, and I'm gonna explain to you why. So, for those who was watching the game on YouTube TV, and this was trending on Twitter, by the way, we kept getting in a time loop with this Little Mermaid BS, with the Little Mermaid commercial.
It happened to me too because I was watching it on YouTube TV.
So I really didn't watch the last 5 minutes of this game because I couldn't. So it's not. So I don't know what happened at the last 5 minutes. I legitimately don't. I know what happened for the first 4 3 minutes of game time. The last 5 minutes I don't.
Right.
I'm level.
But that's fine. That's fine because from what I've seen, this is just Coach Spo again at his best. I mean, there's a reason why he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. And what he did was he put more aggression for Bam Adebayo since the Celtics have a lack of size. Al Horford is a shell of himself. Like, if there was ever people that was doubting it and holding on to it.
What you've been saying since this Hawk series.
Yeah, I've been saying this since the Hawk series. I have. But if there's ever a time, people who just were not trying to admit it, who were not trying to let it go, it's time to let it go. He's done. He's washed up. It's over for him. He can't make a three. He doesn't have the same agility as he had. He just doesn't have the same presence that he had. He just feels like a basic below average role player. That's what it looks like when I watch him play now. And Bam Adebayo was having quick work with him. And you can't really expect Robert Williams to do everything down there in that paint. You just can't. Because they got players like Jimmy Butler who could finish down low. You got Bam Adebayo who could finish down low. It looked like, and then they had Gabe Vincent and Max Strus. They were smelling blood in this entire game. So
I have a question.
They were smelling blood. They were playing great defense. This is just Coach Spo at his best, man.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you start Grant Williams over Al Horford?
I'm gonna say yes.
Or do you start Grant? Or do you start Derek White?
No. I'm gonna start Grant Williams because Derek White is the better option, but I like what Derek White brings off the bench. I think you need that because if you start Derek White, I think your bench points is screwed. So Grant Williams, he's kind of like a PJ Tucker in a way. He's gonna do all the dirty work. He's gonna just be more physical than Al Horford can be right now. He's gonna hustle more. He's gonna be more agile. He's gonna make more threes. So I would definitely take. I mean, look, he got his tooth stomped out of him, and he was still hustling, man.
He did get curb stomped by Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
he even did that. Could have finished his job. See what I told you about this Philly team? I told you.
Yeah, which is also pathetic on Philly's part, but Grant Williams is just a better option. And if if Grant Williams is a better option, and I can't remember his name, but this is a test for this Boston coach. He needs to see this. He needs to see that Al Horford is finished. Al Horford is finished. You can't give him the same responsibility anymore. If they continue to do this, not only will they lose the series, they might lose the series in more and less games than everybody expects it to be, right? Look at what Kevin Love is bringing them. Kevin Love transitionally dominated that game.
He didn't. No, he was.
He dominated that game, right? Al Horford gives you nothing. Kevin Love is out rebounding him. Kevin Love is boxing him out. I mean, he completely outplayed Al Horford. Like it felt like a prime Kevin Love.
He's shooting over him. He gave those outlet passes. He's playing pretty well so far.
And credit to Kevin Love because he's been doing this his whole playoff run. He's kind of like taking back the clock of time in this run, and there's a reason why he's one of the greatest players in this game. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's a reason, and he's showing it. But the mismatch for Kevin Love and Al Horford is so alarming that they might lose the series in less games than what people think. So for Boston's coach, I can't remember his name right now. He needs to see this, and he needs to make an adjustment very quick.
All right, so here are my big takeaways for this. Eric Spoelstra, don't play Cody Zeller ever again. I'm so serious. Because the minutes he played, oh my goodness, it was one of the worst minutes of basketball I've seen in my life.
Yeah, he was horrible.
Like, it's crazy because literally he started the fourth quarter, played a minute and a half, Boston went on a 7-0 run, he never played again. Because Eric Spoelstra knew if he would have kept playing, they lost the game. He would have. No, there's no argument about to that to me. I actually loved how Miami played this whole entire game from start to finish. The second quarter, at the last 4 minutes of that second quarter was bad. They needed halftime, but this is why he's arguably a top 5 coach in this league. Not this league of all time, rather. He went to halftime, adjusted, third quarter, outscored by 20. And dropped 40 on them. And there was really nobody I really had except for Cody Zeller, obviously. There's no one really had a complaint for him.
Yeah, this is again like they look like last year's team. They're just where everyone is just locked in. Everyone plays their role perfectly, except for Cody Zeller.
Yeah, no, he's a masterclass of trash.
Yeah, I think it was a thing where Spoelstra was like, okay, let me put him in and see if he can do something. And then when it got that bad, he's like, all right, get out.
Like, it's amazing too, because I was asking you, I'm like, yo, where's Dwayne Dedman? I was really asking where was Dwayne Dedman, because I'm like, yo, why is he playing over him?
Yeah,
like
he's horrible, bro. Like,
I forgot they had why was it Mario 7 playing? Why was he playing over him?
I guess the only thing I can say is maybe because he's too slow.
Excuse me. Yeah, because Cody Zeller can't move.
Yeah, he if anything, he is agile for a big.
But that's it. He can't do anything else.
His defensive IQ is like negative.
Yeah, I'm literally just watching. I'm like, yo, I'm like, no, he gotta get out. This is ridiculous. But didn't hate how Boston played and this one in general. I didn't hate it. Al Horford, like I said, Joe Mazzulla got to get him out of there because it's been bad. So far the playoff it's been bad. They've been winning in spite of him. I'll say this with the Celtics right now. They're lucky they played Philly in the second round. They played Philly in the second round and Atlanta in the first round. And
they're lucky.
They struggled both series. But I had the Heat in 6 going into this for the people watching. I had the Heat winning this one in 6. And Tatum played pretty well in this game.
He did.
He still got outplayed by Jimmy Butler.
Oh, I did see one thing. Tatum kind of did choke in this game. He had I seen it in a couple reels. I believe in the final minute, he traveled twice.
You see, he traveled twice in the last minute?
Yeah. Maybe a minute, last 2 minutes, he traveled twice.
Oh, yeah, he did. He traveled twice in a 30-second stretch.
Yeah.
In the last 2 minutes. How did you travel twice in that?
And one of them was really bad because he got a pass for 3. He pump faked. He made the guy jump, but the thing is, when he pump faked, he also jumped.
Again, I didn't see any of this because I got stuck in a time loop. But how?
I don't know. But he did do that, so he did technically choke. But it's fine though. He did play a good game overall, though.
No, he still played a good game overall. But what the hell is that? And here's another thing I noticed too. What's his face? Payne Pritchard. He played 12 minutes.
Yep.
And I'm trying to figure out why.
I'm not sure. I think. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I have no idea why he's playing.
I don't know why he's playing either because just have Brogdon. Just have Derek White.
Also, I want to ask you this one question. Was Grant Williams a DNP coach's decision?
I believe so. I don't remember seeing him at all in this game. And I think
it was because and he was holding the play, right?
I believe so.
Why didn't
I don't know why. Yes, DNP.
Why didn't play?
That's a player you want to play against Miami. You need scrappy players to play against them. He's a scrappy player.
Yeah, because what Miami's going to do, Miami is going to muck it up. They're going to make this game as ugly as possible because that's their brand of basketball, and that's how they get their wins. That's literally how they play. So why not fight fire with fire and play Grant Williams?
And it's perfect because You'll have Marcus Smart and Grant Williams.
Right. So that actually pretty much confuses me a lot, actually. And again, this one I don't like Joe Mazzulla like that. I might be like, I kind of don't like that, but
I don't like him either. And again, he spreads the floor because Al Horford is so bad to a point where he no longer spreads the floor.
Yeah,
he's just a center that shoots threes and he's gonna miss.
Yeah, he's a shooter who can't shoot.
He's a shooter who can't shoot. He no longer spreads the floor for the team. It's like a poison. Like it's just that's how bad he is. Where if he shoots a shot, it's like, oh, wasted possession.
Right.
And then if you mix that with the inconsistencies of Tatum, this is why this team looks so bad in this entire playoff run.
Yeah. That's not wrong.
Let this team, I'll tell you what, this team come out this series, they're going to get dog walked by whoever comes out in the West.
Yeah, no, I genuinely agree with that.
They're going to get destroyed. So, I actually kind of hope Miami makes it for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like if Boston wins this series, it's a wrap. They lose it again.
Yeah, they're going to get destroyed. Could you imagine? Could you imagine Jokic, Denver playing this team? They would demolish them.
Yeah. And you can't really double him either.
You can't.
And they got to do what the Lakers did, which we'll get into that in a minute. But they got to do what the Lakers did.
Yeah.
Let's slow him down.
But they don't have a player to do what the Lakers did. You need AD for that. So
I think they can kind of do it.
Who?
I think Robert Williams can kind of do that.
He might be able to, but he's not AD. But I see what you mean, though. I see what you mean. He might be able to. But it'll be much harder. What I tell you about the Hey, Tom, I'm sorry about that pick, man.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Hold it.
I'm sorry about that pick, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's tough. That's very tough.
Most dangerous team in the playoffs, super scrappy at defense. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what they have.
That's exactly what they are. Very scrappy defense.
And they're actually missing two players, Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo as well.
They're also undefeated at home in these playoffs, too.
Oh, yeah, they're 5-0.
Yeah, they haven't lost.
Them, the Lakers, and the Nuggets so far haven't lost at home yet.
Yeah, they're all undefeated. No lead is safe with Miami, too, by the way.
Bro, NBA and NHL are so dumb how they do the draft. Oh, yeah, the NHL do have a lottery, too. I forgot about that.
NHL and NBA is literally the same league. They're just a week apart.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
They're just a week apart. Yeah.
I don't hate I could see the arguments against the lottery, though. Don't get me wrong. I could see the arguments against it, but I don't hate it, though.
It's just, I don't hate it either. It's just when it's teams like Detroit, it makes it look bad.
I understand.
Yeah, that's what it is.
If a team like the Rockets get the number one overall pick, is like, for what? Like, you feel me? It's like, for what?
And those Cleveland years, you know when the Cavs got them?
Oh, they were funny to me, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
That was dumb funny to me. But, like, it's bad, but it's still funny, though.
Yeah, it is it is very entertaining. It is.
Right. Listen, my team never got screwed out of the lottery, so that's why I never had a reason to hate it. We was always like pick number 2.
Yeah,
but
they did.
It is what it is. They just gotta figure shit out, though. Like Celtics, you gotta figure something out, though, for this Al Horford situation, though, because it's bad.
It's terrible, bro. It's really bad.
We're going out west now.
Yes, sir. We going out west. The NBA Finals.
Shit, to me, essentially, that's exactly what it is. But hold on. The Pistons will remain a bad team until this is fixed. Top free agents don't want to sign with Detroit or any of the undesirable NBA team. I do hear that, though. I do hear that.
You got to look at the light at the end of the tunnel because this team does still have a young core. Yes, Kate Cunningham did get hurt. But so what their pick is 5th, I believe?
They're 5, yeah.
They're 5. And if you watch the draft, 1 through 4 is not guaranteed. They could, whoever they draft for the 5th, very well may be one of the best players in the draft. You know what I'm saying?
The worst team. Oh my goodness. The worst team should get their first pick no matter what.
No matter what.
My goodness. Okay, this is what I kind of have a problem with it. In this league specifically, I have a problem with it.
Because tanking. Philadelphia will be a dynasty.
That Kane hasn't been healthy since he was drafted.
But so tanking, the 76ers, the process, we would have hated the process because they would have had like 6 championships.
I mean, they did have a few number 1 picks. Look how that turned out.
Yeah, because remember their tanking was so intentional that it was disturbing. Remember?
Yeah, didn't they lose like 26 games in a row at one point?
They lost like I think the year the Warriors won 30, I think they lost 30.
No, that didn't happen. The Warriors won 73-9, and the Sixers won 10-72. That's what happened.
Oh, okay. 10-72. My goodness.
On Cam. So on Cam, what more?
I mean, what is he like, a wing?
Yeah. He had an OD vertical when they were doing I think it was a timeout. I don't think the comments happened yet, but I saw a picture where he went all the on the vertical jump.
Well, if this is a player that Detroit gets, it'll be good because you got to move on from Bogdanovich.
That was that he 18 super athletic. Like if you do get your heads on him or Jerace Walker, I think you're fine.
Right. And I'll say this: Wiseman looked better in this team. Right?
No, they do have too many big men, though.
They do have too many. But I would say keep Wiseman, right? Because he looked better in this team. I guess he just needed a new team. He needed a new scenery. He needed a fresh start. And this is what happened. And to close out the season, he was playing well. Cade is coming back.
We need a top free agent.
This ain't the free agency class for that. The top free agent in this class, I think, is Kyrie.
Yeah, I don't think you want that. I don't think you want that. And a good head coach. I think if you get a good head coach, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Because you got the pieces. You just got to put it together.
And they got to move on from Bogdanovich, man.
They do.
Get him out of here.
I want to see move on. I at least have a veteran presence, but don't put as much responsibility as Dwayne Casey did.
Right. Move on in terms of usage.
But yeah, let's get into the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah,
I hear that. I feel that.
Frustrated. Yeah, I feel you, bro. Yeah, what is it? This feels like a World Heavyweight Championship match between the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. I'm pretty sure we all seen this coming. It was a very entertaining game. I had the Lakers losing game 1 personally. I had a feeling it would be a momentum game. They were at home. It's the West Conference Finals. This is the year where if there was a year that they could do it, it's this year. And I knew just emotions would be flowing, and that's exactly what happened. They felt like a team that couldn't be stopped. They hit shots that were just out of this world. Right. Nikola Jokic was dominating this team. The Lakers felt lifeless in the first half. Felt like they just really weren't really, in terms of defensively, felt like they weren't really ready to be there yet. But then there's always two tells. There's always 2 tells to the half. Two halves to a game. And the second half, as the Lakers always do, and Darvin Ham always does, they make adjustments. And they made magnificent adjustments second half. And it's funny because Mike Malone said it.
Yeah, I think Nuggets win game 2, going to win 4-2. I agree with 67% of that. I think the Nuggets win this game today. I do agree with that. I do think they win the series, but I think they win in 7.
4-2 is interesting. 4-2 means that he thinks they win 1 in LA.
Yeah.
I can't see that happening.
They had their chance to take a game, and LeBron decided to pull. Don't remind me. don't remind me. That pissed me off.
Very bad take. That was a very bad take by LeBron. Very bad shot.
That pissed me off. Like, yeah, no, you're 100% right with that.
But that's a make or miss situation because if he makes that shot, he snatches their soul.
Yeah, it's a tie game at that point.
It's tie game. And a tie game at that point, I say they win the game.
Probably.
Yeah. But they make adjustments. Mike Malone said it. Mike Malone said in the end of the third quarter, he said I think they scored like 38 points in the quarter or 40.
38 points. I think it's 70% shooting. I think that's what it was.
70% shooting. He said if they continue to do that, we're gonna lose.
They were close. I'll say that much. They were fucking close. And this is why I got a lot of love for Darvin Ham, though. I'll say this much. This is why I got a lot of love for Darvin Ham. Like the fact that he was able to adjust mid-game, put Rui Hachimura on Jokic, and pretty much had AD beat the help defender.
Pretty much.
Essentially shut him down for the rest of the game. Well, as shut down as you can do with Nikola Jokic, because Nikola Jokic is ridiculous. They continue to use Austin Reeves more. Yeah, they do.
They do, but remember that Austin Reeves is dealing with KCP.
Yeah, that doesn't help. That doesn't help.
And that is a championship player right there. Every point that he scored, it hurted me and it angered me every time because we traded him for Russell Westbrook. He was a part of that trade. That is a championship caliber player, battle tested. He's a big reason why Denver won this game.
He's a great role player at the end of the day. And yeah, he had 21 points in this game. That don't remind me. Oh yeah, they did have him. I don't know why I forgot he had him.
They did have him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that did happen.
They did have him. Yeah, KCP he's a problem, man. He's always going to show up. He will always show up. I believe Reeves had like 23 points in this game.
Yep, he has 23.
So he had a very good second half. He has started to get hot. But what they need to do is they need to stop putting him on Michael Porter Jr. because that makes absolutely no sense.
He's just going to show over him.
He shoots right over him. That makes no sense. They need to start Rui Hachimura for this game. This is size against size. You got to match size with size in this series.
It's crazy, too, because I remember that three in the corner, too. Osiris had a head in his face, and he legitimately just didn't see him. Like, Michael Jordan is so, like his wingspan is ridiculous. And he's like, I think 6'10", 6'11". He literally he's like Kevin Durant, but nerfed.
Pretty much.
In terms of that, and then she just shot right over him.
It felt like for the people that play 2K, it felt like he greened a red shot.
Right. And honestly, if you're a Lakers fan and you watch game one, you do feel better about the series, though. You do.
Yeah,
I was about to say this though. Mike Malone, again, one of the best coaches in the league, and Darvin Ham, one of the best coaches in the league, with one of the smartest, and they both have one of the smartest players in the league with LeBron James and Nikola Jokic. So this is essentially a chess match, just going on over and over and over again. And honestly, the way the Lakers played offensively in this game, I didn't hate what I saw.
I didn't hate it either. I liked
LeBron,
yeah.
I was gonna say LeBron outside the last 2 minutes of the game, I thought he played his best game in the playoffs.
I agree with that 100%. I thought that was his best game in the playoffs as well. The way he was orchestrating that offense in the low post, I mean, he got whatever he wanted in terms of him getting a shot, in terms of giving the Lakers as a team an open look. He was slicing that defense up, but I mean, Denver was they couldn't miss.
But yeah, it's about to say only game one, right? It was only game one so far. Great game, by the way. Both game ones, by the way, for the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. Both great game ones, by the way. For the 85% of that I saw, and that's what Bill Murray tormented me.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, Raul, you said you got the Lakers winning tonight, right?
Yes, I got the Lakers tying it up, heading to Los Angeles with stealing home court advantage.
The Lakers the Lakers really have to win all the home games and steal one. I genuinely feel the Lakers lose a home game, they're losing the series.
It's a big chance they do. If they lose a home game, they might lose the series.
Like, what I think's gonna happen is I think Nuggets win tonight. I think the Lakers win the ones at home, and at that point, what happens. At that point, what happens.
I could very well see that happening as well. I can see that. This is tough, man. It's as tough as this is gonna get.
Right, but the blueprint's there, and I know what they should do in LA. But you can't. But again, I'm glad they figured this out. You can't double Nikola Jokic. You really can't.
He's gonna dot you up.
It's crazy because he's one of the best. He's one of the best scorers in the league. Not flashy with it, but he gets it done. He's the best playmaker in this league. One of the best rebounders in this league. And he's all right defensively.
He does what he holds his own.
Exactly. That's like what he is.
He holds his own on defense.
And
but
it's so tough guarding a player like that.
It is, but they're gonna have to take a couple out of Eric Spoelstra's book, and they gotta attack him the way they attack Mitchell Robinson. They gotta attack his agility,
attack him with speed, and
then him picking up the ball. I would say pressure him when he's running up the court. Don't let him run up the court and he's just pretty much walking up there.
Right.
Just frustrate him. Give him a body. Maybe make him earn a tech. You know who's good at that? Vanderbilt will be real good at that.
He would be very good at that. I hated how he played that first game, though. He kind of sucked.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
But you do have to find a way to utilize him, but offensively, it's too much offensively. Offensively,
I'm assuming they're going to use him on Murray a lot more. Because if not, what is he there for? Don't really know. But I think LeBron continues to stay in the post in this series. I think he can move the ball the best way like that. Like he finds a way to dot up this defense when he's in the low post. And I think he knows that. That's why he did it anyway. He knows the teams that he plays.
Right. And again, like I said, the way he played his first game, I actually loved it. Except for him selling that layup and then him clanking a 3 when he didn't have to shoot it.
That was a sell on that layup. That was a sell.
But aside from those two, there were big misses. Don't get me wrong, there were big misses. Like, aside from that, he played great. I honestly, this is what he needs to do. But I said, attack down low, try to force a switch, go to work.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Why AD low-key had the quietest 40-point game of all time?
He did have the quiet, because Jokic's performance was just so loud that AD's just overshadowed.
That was like, mind you, AD had a great game. By the way, it's just
he did. 40 and 10.
Yeah, he had 40 and 10.
Yeah,
I think it was games.
He should average about, at bare minimum, 28 points a game in this series. He should.
Well, as long as he doesn't have one of his episodes, yeah, that should happen.
Right, but those episodes, because they have no one for him. Like literally, like last series, you could understand with Draymond because he's Draymond Green and Kevin Looney.
He only had one bad game anyway in that series, just game 2.
Exactly, he only had one bad game.
Yeah,
the series before, Triple J is understandable, but there should be no reason. Kind of. There should be no reason when Nikola Jokic is stopping you. Not AD. Like, not at all.
Right.
So, he should dominate. That should be like every game for him in this series.
I feel that. But that'll be all. Subscribe to Sports Dynasty and Mafia Sports Report. And enjoy these playoffs. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Yes, sir. So, you got Denver. I got LA today.
Yes, I got Denver win tonight. And win the series in general. I got Denver winning the series in 7. I just think every home team wins their games, respectively.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right, I got LA in